It's time for the X and Y Show with your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y Show.
Oh yeah. Sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y Show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Roosevelt Colbert.
And greetings. Welcome to another segment of the X and Y Show. I'm your host, Roosevelt. And it is a glorious Friday night. And I'm glad to be broadcasting to you once again. It's kind of early, so I'm going to get the show over with. And then I'm going to try to go out and maybe get some pussy tonight. So, with that being said, no, I'm just kidding. Well, I am going to go out and get some pussy, but now let me stop. All right. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad to be back. You know, I miss you guys over a week. I have to wait a week to talk to ya, and I really miss talking to ya. So I'm always happy to be back and do another show with you guys. You know, you're like family to me. So, and I received a email. It was a short email from one of you fans, and I'm willing to bet it was a female. The letter read like this: Dear Roosevelt, I read your tweet on ages in relationships, and I think you're full of shit. Age has nothing to do with it. All that matters is love. I don't remember tweeting anything like that, but I see so much shit on Twitter. It's possible. But to answer that, I think I did an episode on that. It does matter. Age does matter. I mean, now I know a lot of you are saying that you see celebrities in Hollywood where a man is a lot older than a woman, or vice versa in some cases. And that's fine and dandy. They're happy. That's cool. But I'm talking about for me, you know, specifically myself, or any other relationship where someone that's chooses to be with someone a lot older than they are. I'm talking about the reality, you know. While she's 30 and you 50, okay, that's cool. But what happens when she's 50 and you're 70? What happens when she's 60 and you're 80? You know what I'm saying? And I think about that about myself. You know, what happens when I'm 20 years older than a woman that I'm with, and when I'm 80, she's 60. You know, I'm 85, she's 65. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, if it happens, that's fine. But age does matter to a certain degree. I want somebody who wouldn't mind aging with me, you know, in the same manner. You know, I want somebody who wear diapers the same time I do. You know what I'm saying? I want someone who might not mind changing my diapers because I'm going to change hers later on. You see what I'm saying? But a younger woman might get tired of that shit. You know, changing my diapers and shit and taking me to the bathroom. You know, so I think age does matter. Now, if it happens, it happens. That's fine. That's cool. You're happy? That's all. That's all. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to go out looking for it. Yeah, it's all fine and handy to be with a woman 20 years younger than you are, but why now? You still in control of your bodily functions. You still fucking. But what about later on down the road? When she's still, able to get around, faster than you are. And that could be a problem. A big problem. So that's all I'm saying. Age, a lot of people say it doesn't matter, but it does. In reality, it does. Yeah, there is such a thing that you can be with someone that's too young. That's all I'm saying. Now, if it happens, like I said, roll with it. Be happy and, you just be waiting, just be willing to accept the consequences later on down the road if she's not willing to change your diaper. So that's all I'm saying. It's what you're willing to live with, and that goes both ways. So anyway, thank you for the letter. X and Y fan. I enjoy replying, so I hope you guys start writing more and more. Like I said before, I love talking to you and giving feedback to some of the questions that you may ask. With that being said, I'm going to jump right into tonight's episode. Tonight's episode is... Stop. I'm in a good mood tonight. I've been drinking a little gin, but still I'm in a happy mood. But anyway, tonight's episode: should newlyweds buy a house together, or just move into whoever owns one? I'm going to ask the question again. Should newlyweds buy a house together, or just move into whoever owns one? Years ago when I was in Atlanta, when I lived in Atlanta, me and my coworkers were starting to talk about this. And they were women. And they said that, when you get married, that you should buy your house together. And I couldn't understand that because I'm like, if somebody got a house, then fuck it, just move in. What you gonna buy a house for? But as I've grown older, they were older women. I see what they're saying. I understand what they're saying, and now I agree with. I didn't agree with them then, but now I agree with them. I do believe that if you are married, if you're newlyweds, you just got married, I think that you should buy your house together. I don't think it's a good idea if the woman moves in with the man, or vice versa. The man moves in with the woman, just because they have a house. Because that's not your house, or speaking second person, it's not our house. That's his house. That's her house, not our house. And in my opinion, I think you're already starting off on the wrong foot. So I do believe that married couples should buy a house together, not moving to the person who already has one. Now, I want to say something before I get too into the episode. I'm not talking about rich people. Okay? It's a different set of rules for them, obviously. And I'll give you an example. If Michael Jordan bought a $30 million mansion, I think it's safe to say that his wife didn't contribute towards that. And I'm not trying to put her down or nothing. But, she's not the multimillionaire. Michael Jordan is. So he's going to buy the house. It's going to be his house. But maybe, when he buys the $30 million mansion, of course, she's along with him so she can contribute to the decision into buying it. Like, honey, I don't like this one. It has 2 floors. It has 3 floors or whatever the case may be. So even though she's not buying it monetarily, she's still contributing to the overall decision. So rich people when it comes to rich people, it's a little different than regular folk. Give you another example. If I was to marry Oprah Winfrey and she buys a $40 million house, it's safe to say that I'm not giving her shit. And Oprah, she got it. I mean, she has the money. So she's going to buy the house. And really, I wouldn't be all that bad. I would give her, $500 towards the closing fee or something, just to show I'm a man. But rich folks play with a different set of rules. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about regular folks with regular income that when buying a house together as a married couple would be a joint investment together. So I'm talking about everyday working people. Okay, I'm not talking about rich folks. It's different for them. Now, I'm also talking about married couples. I'm not talking about boyfriend, girlfriend, or couples in relationships. Couples in relationships have no damn business buying a house. And I say that because I know a lot of people that were boyfriend and girlfriend, and they bought houses together. Now, for those of you who are listening to the sound of my voice, and I just want to say, be able to buy a house together, that is a great feat. It really is. So, if you're in a relationship right now, your boyfriend and girlfriend, I want you to stand up and look into a mirror. All right? You doing it? All right, smile, and now you see 2 of the most stupidest motherfuckers that you will see on the planet. And I say that because you are a stupid motherfucker if you're in a relationship and you're buying a house together. It's hard enough if you're married, but if you're in a relationship and you're buying a house together, that's just some dumb shit. You can break up at any time. There's no commitment. And, you still have this financial burden. It's stupid. It's stupid. Now, I know a lot of you say, well, we've been in a relationship for 10 years and we got a house together. Well, good for you. But for the normal, average person, that's not a good idea to buy a house and be in a relationship. If you do, then you're stupid. There's nothing wrong with that. Just know that that's what you are. Now, like I said, I'm talking about married people, not people in relationships. I think when you get married that you should definitely buy a house together. When you buy a house together, it strengthens the bond that you have with one another. When both of you are going out and buying a house and looking at houses, oh, honey, I like this one. Well, your husband might not say, well, I don't like that. The yard is too big. I don't want steps. I want a ranch style. I want a pool. I want a big garage. Whatever the case may be. You want a big Florida room. You want a big dining room. You want a big kitchen. You want a small kitchen. You want 3 bathrooms. You want 2 bathrooms. You want a big bedroom. You want a big master bedroom. The other rooms doesn't matter. You want a big patio. Whatever the case may be. The key is that both of you are contributing to this lifelong decision. it's not one person's decision. Meaning, if you just get married and move in with a person that has the house, that's their house. I know a lot of you say, well, oh no, you're married, we're together. Oh, that's all fine and dandy. You know, that sounds very Cosby-like, but that's just not reality. And I'm willing to bet, and I've known some people who have done this, who have gotten married with someone who has had the residence. And when they moved in, yes, they moved in, blah, 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 they were married. But it wasn't the same because it wasn't their house. You know, they were basically just living there. Like they were just paying rent. You know, it's kind of weird to explain, you know, because it's not a situation that anyone could ever get used to. In my opinion, I know I couldn't. If I was to marry someone and move into her house, I would never feel like that's my house. Never. Ever. And I would almost feel like if I wanted to do a major modification, you know, like maybe, I don't know, make the garage into a man cave. Some shit. I don't know. I'm just giving some examples. I would almost feel that I would have to ask her. You know, or if I wanted to put a fountain in the yard or something. Or if I wanted to put a deck. You know, she might not want a deck. You know, she say, no, I like my yard. You know. I don't want a deck. I want to see my yard. I don't want a deck. I don't want no damn deck. You know, I'm just giving examples. But I would have to comply because that's her house. It wouldn't even be any room for compromise. If we had both bought it, we could compromise. Well, okay, I'm not going to get a 100-foot deck. I'll get a 25-foot deck. Okay? That way we have some deck. And we still have some yard left. You know, it'll be a compromise. But if it's her house, it's really ain't shit I can say. No, not really. And vice versa. If it's his house, it's not really much she can say. That's his house. So I think you should avoid all of that. I mean, marriage is hard enough as it is to be starting off on the wrong foot with someone feeling not at home in their own home. I mean, that's really crazy, isn't it? You're at home, but you don't feel at home. You don't feel like that's your home. That's some weird shit. I don't want to feel like that. And I don't want any of you to feel like that or potentially feel like that. This is why I'm saying that if you are to get married, you should buy a house together. So the person that have a house, or both of you might have a house. Because then, you know, a lot of you say, well, we just make the decision. And that's bullshit. You still starting off on the wrong foot. Because if she sells her house, you moved in his house, and something happened, I told you we should have stayed in my house. I told you. You started off on the wrong foot. Just look. Sell those houses or use both of them as rental property. And then buy you two together a primary residence. Together. It strengthens your bond as a couple when you get a house together. You're doing it together. It's a joint investment. It's your house. It's our house. Not his house. Not her house. Our house. Now, if you do move into your wife's home or your husband's home, okay, I'm gonna give you another way where you can beat a lot of potential initial bullshit in your marriage. if you do move in with your wife or your husband in their house, their shit, because it's not your house. It's not our house. It's their shit. It's their house, okay? No matter what, I mean, in reality, I'm talking real here. Now, if that person really gave a damn what they would do, this is what I would do. If my wife moved in my house, I would put her name on the lease. I know a lot of you say, well, hell no, I ain't put on, that's my house. See, you starting off on the wrong foot. It's not your house anymore. You shouldn't think that way. If you're getting married, then any damn fool would know when you get married, my shit is her shit. Her shit is my shit. It's joint property, joint custody, everything split. It's no more yours, no more mine. So if you get married, if I was to get married, I would put my wife's name on the lease. You know, so even though we didn't pick the house out together, because, you know, I don't know, something might be happening where we are not able to buy a house right now. Maybe the market is bad. Maybe one of us lost our job. Whatever the case may be. One of us is working. Something where we can't get a house at this point in time. So this would be a second best option. If she was to move in my house, I would put her name on the lease. That way I'm telling her, look, baby, you didn't pick this house, you didn't buy this house, but this is our house. This is my name on the lease. This is your name on the lease. This is our house. This is your house too. Feel at home. So, you know, when we're able to get a house together, then we'll go buy one together, maybe, if we feel that way. You know, or we might just stay there because her name is on the lease. She has some sense of ownership with me. I'm sharing my life with her. I'm sharing my things with her. It's no longer my shit. It's our shit. That's the way it should be. You know, a lot of times people who get married, they go into marriage still clinging on their shit. You know, this is my bank account. You pay your bills, I pay mine. You know, you pay your car note, I pay my car note. You know, that's your money, this is my money. It's a recipe for disaster. Any damn fool would know when you get married, it's no more your shit. No more her shit, no more my shit. It's our shit. We're in this together. To death do us part. Don't you listen to the vows. Don't you listen to the vows that you say? Oh, some of you motherfuckers right? Don't you listen? We're in this together. It's no more yours, no more mine. Stop being so damn selfish. So that's what I would do. If she had to move in my house, I would put her name on the lease. And I would hope that she would do the same for me. If I was to move in her house, I would hope she'd say, baby, look, I'm putting your name on the lease. You're here, you're my husband. You know, I love you. We're in this together. This is our house. Your name is on the lease. I would hope she'd do that for me as well. Like I would do that for my wife. And like I said, me personally, I just don't feel that I would ever. It would be very difficult for me to move into a woman's house when we're married. You know, we were married. It would be very difficult. I would never feel at home. I would never feel at home. Like this is my house. I would never feel like an owner, a homeowner. I feel like more like a renter. I know a lot of you listening to me right now feel that way because you're going through this shit. And a lot of you might think that this is very petty. Oh, what's the difference? We're married. What's the difference? If it says, whose name on the lease, or is her name on the lease, my name on the lease, what's the difference? And I know a lot of you are saying that because, some people are just silly as hell. And a lot of you think it seems very petty that I'm saying this. It's just material things, right? A house. It doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It may be seem petty to you. But someone who's listening to this broadcast right now is going through this very topic right at this moment. Or someone who's going through this. They've moved into their husband's house or their wife's house, and they don't feel like it's their house. And it bothers them. And a lot of times, they don't even know that it's bothering them until it's too late, because all that shit done built up, inside. And next thing you know, separation, even divorce. For little shit like that. Now, I'm talking about this. I'm using an example of a house for this episode. But I'm just talking about things that involve in a marriage when a couple doesn't relieve or stop believing in my shit and start believing in our shit. That's your money. That's your bank account. That's your car note. Blah, blah, blah. That's your student loans, not mine. But more couples realize that things in a marriage is not yours or his, it's ours. I think a lot of marriages will be saved. A lot of marriages will start to flourish instead of disappear like they are now. So yes, a house might seem petty to you, or a name on a lease might seem petty to you, but it's really not petty. It's really not. You don't realize how good you make a person feel when you say, baby, I love you, we're in this together, I'm putting your name on the lease. It's that simple. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? You married, you love her, you say I do, you say the vows, you're in this together. What's the big deal? Do you know how good you make a person feel if you used to do that? And I know people personally in my life that have gone through this either on one side or another. And I think if they would have done something about it, or would have communicated, or the other person would have included them, like I'm saying, a little thing, and the name on the lease. Who knows? Who knows? Their situations might be totally different today. So it's not petty. It's not petty at all. As a matter of fact, I'm willing to bet, I don't have exact numbers, but I'm willing to bet that this very topic is the cause of many divorces today in our society. Ownership of houses, ownership of personal property, ownership of debt. Because when a couple gets married, they start off on the wrong foot. Look, that's your shit. This is my shit. You stay together, but all that other shit we splitting. Not together. You starting off on the wrong foot. You're starting off on the wrong foot. So if you're listening to this show tonight and you're thinking about getting married, or you're going to get married, one of you, actually, if both of you don't have a house, that's actually good. That's actually good. Because you can move into an apartment and then, build and buy a house together one day. Or you can buy a house right after you get married, whatever the case may be. But the thing is, you'll buy a house together. So that's good if none of you have a house. But if one of you have a house, or both of you have a house, like I said earlier, you should either put those houses up for rental property and buy a house jointly together as an investment, jointly together, as your house, as our house. Or if one of you have a house and the other moves in, or if you both have houses and you choose which house you're going to move into, whatever the case may be, you move into the other person's house. That person says, okay, I'm putting your name on the lease. This is your house as well. It's not my house anymore. This is our house. Then trust me, you will alleviate a lot of initial bullshit and a lot of hurt feelings in a time where your marriage is the most vulnerable. So yes, to answer the question, should newlyweds buy a house together or just move into whoever owns one? I believe that newlyweds absolutely should buy a house together if they can. If they can, they should buy a house together. If they choose, if one of the party choose to move into the person's house with, or that already owns a house, then that person should include your new wife or your new husband on that lease. Because it is no longer your house anymore. It's no longer my house anymore. It's our house. And as soon as more married couples realize that, the more better off this society will be. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode of the X and Y Show. Be sure to catch me on a wide variety of different listening venues. My main platform is Spreaker. You can go to Spreaker.com and see all of my episodes housed there. Also, I'm on Stitcher, I'm on iTunes, I'm on TuneIn, and I'm also on Google Play. So be sure to listen to whatever listening venue or avenue that you like best. And also on the Spreaker network, you can download the app for iTunes, from the iPhone or the Android. So be sure to take advantage of that as well, so you can take the X and Y Show anywhere and everywhere you can. And also be sure to subscribe to whatever listening venue you listening to. Be sure that you subscribe and listen and show me your support that way. I'm also on social network. I'm on social media, rather. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Tumblr, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. So be sure to follow me on those as well. You can find everything on my website, which is www.thexyshow.com. It's www.thexyshow.com. You can also leave any comments, any recommendations on any future shows that you might want to hear, or just any constructive criticism or feedback on the show about me, or just say hello. More than happy to hear from you all. Also, the XY store is housed on my website as well, so be sure to buy you a shirt or a coffee mug and show your support to the X and Y brand, and send me a picture of you wearing your shirt, and I will post it on my Instagram account and show everyone that you are a true X and Y'er. With that being said, that concludes another episode of the X and Y Show, and I will see you next Friday. And I want to say, always remember, there cannot be any love without X and Y. See you next week. Have a great evening, and always remember, I love you. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Roosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on. Or not.